So that was the epithelial. Now we go to connective. So connective, so we said that we're going to have loose, which is just a few fibers, as you can see right here. So just some fibers. So this is definitely loose. Okay, and we say the two important kinds that we have about loose, right? They are going to be reticular and areolar. Okay, in this case, this is areolar. Reticular usually is darker. Right there, this is reticular right here. You guys see it? Do you see the fibers right here? Look, I'm going to highlight the fibers. The fibers are kind of like black in here. Look, this is the fiber. Look at the screen, guys, right here. This black one right there. See, that's the fiber. You see that one? This one right here, the black, kind of like going down like that. That's the fiber. Brownish with black, that's definitely reticular. Okay, that's another loose. And right here we have adipose tissues that's also considered part of the connective tissue. And then we have, this is dense. Here you have a lot of fibers, but the trick in here again is that these fibers have a pattern, right? The pattern is going to be from left to right. Therefore, this is going to be regular. And the other kind in here, you have a lot of them, but they have no pattern, right? Look, this one actually looks like a number 3 in there. This one is going like this one is going like that. That one is regular. This one right here, so this is going to be elastic. Right, you see in the other one, I was able to show you the lines, but look in here, I can't do that, right? Because there's so many, I can even trace them, right? There's way too many in order to show you that. So this is going to be dense, but the main fiber in there is going to be elastic. Another tissue that is going to be considered part of the connective tissue is the cartilage, right? Because cartilage technically connects, right? So for example, if we think about our knee, in our knees, we're going to have cartilage, right? And this cartilage in our knees, right? They're going to help us connect the bones that we have in there. So then what is the name of the cell that you have in the cartilage? Chondrocytes. And these chondrocytes are going to create different types of cartilage. This one right here is going to be hyaline cartilage. This one right here is going to be fibrocartilage. And this one right here is going to be elastic cartilage. And right here you can see the chondrocyte right there. Right there, that's the chondrocyte. You see this round thing right there? Those are in the chondrocyte. You can see those in there. You can see them here too, even though they're smaller. Those are going to be the chondrocytes. Now, also in addition to the cartilage, as I mentioned before, we're going to have bones. Bones are also considered part of connective tissue. The cells that you're going to have in your bones are going to be called the osteocytes. Remember, for the cartilage, we said chondrocytes. For the bones are going to be osteocytes. Chondrocyte makes the cartilage. The osteoblasts makes the bone, and that's what you see right there. So these concentrical structures that you see right there, this is going to be called an osteon. The bones are composed of osteons. So this concentrical structure, again, that looks like, an onion, different layers of an onion, that's going to be the osteon. The blue dots that I'm putting in there, those were the osteoblasts. Right here, also, part of the connective tissue is considered the blood. The blood, because technically the blood goes throughout your entire body. Therefore, obviously, it's going to connect multiple areas in our bodies. And for that reason, it's considered part of the connective tissue. The blood, obviously, is going to have cells, and that's the cells that you have right here. So in your blood, you're going to have red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So those are the 3 types. Platelets. Those are the 3 types of cells that you're going to have in your blood. So this one right here, those are the red blood cells. So that's this. But in addition to that, we also have white blood cells, which are these big ones right there. See that one and this one? So those are going to be white blood cells. And platelets, we have platelets in our blood, but we don't have that in this particular figure. And right here, now this is when students are going to make the drawings for the connective tissue. Let's keep scrolling down right here. So this is the integumentary system. As we said, systems. This system is going to be the integumentary, right? And then we have systems are composed of organs. So then what organ is this one? This is going to be the skin. Then if it's an organ, then it's going to have tissues. So that means in this tissue, you must have in there connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscles, and nerve, right? Which we already covered that. Right? And then obviously we need to have cells, and we're going to have cells in there, such as, for example, keratinocyte, right? We already keratinocytes. We already talked about it. Remember, those are the cells that we have on the top layers of our skin, right? The one that we're constantly shedding. Okay, so then we scroll down right here. We have the skin, and let me find a figure right there. This is, what is this? This is the organ from here to here. And we said that if it's an organ, it's gonna find you're gonna find tissues. So therefore, this part right here, as I showed you before, this is gonna be epithelial tissue. And from here to down here, this is gonna be connective tissue. This is the connective tissue. This is the epithelial tissue. So if we look at this, we can say that the skin, let me see, we don't have any more figures right here. Let's start with this. The skin is gonna have 3 layers. The layer in the middle, dermis, the layer on top of the dermis, epidermis, and the layer below the dermis, hypodermis, which is gonna be this part in yellow right there. You can see right here, hypodermis. Now, the epidermis, we already know, right? What type of tissue you have in the epidermis? Epithelial tissue. And what type of epithelial tissue? We said the stratified squamous. If it's stratified, that means that it's going to have a lot of layers. The dermis, that's where you're going to have most of the structures that you're going to have in your skin. Right here, what is this? This is the hair. This is maybe the sweat gland. This is the muscle. This muscle is going to be called the piloerector muscle. This is the hair, and this is the oily gland associated with the hair. These are the nerves. These are the receptors for temperature, receptors for pressure, receptors for vibration, etc. Right here you have the blood vessels that when you cut them, you're gonna bleed. But all these things that I highlighted right here in black, where are they gonna be located? Do you think they're gonna be floating in the air? Obviously not. So then that means that in order to put all of them together, what you're gonna have in there is going to be connective tissue. So this part right here in pink, right there, all this pink and this pink right there, that is connective tissue that is putting all these things together. So that way they are not just floating in the air. Now right here at the bottom, we said that's going to be the hypodermis, where we're going to have all this yellowish area right there, which is going to be fat, right? So then the fat also has a function in there. What is the fat for? It's going to help us with insulation. What else? Energy storage, and some sort of cushion as well, right? So those are the jobs or the functions of what we have for the adipose tissue right there. Now the epidermis, right here, we said that we're going to have multiple layers. These layers that we're going to have in there, they're going to be called stratums. And you can see some of these stratums right here, right? Stratum right there. I think that if we go up, I think I saw the previous figure right there. Right there, right here, guys. You can see the stratums right here in the middle. Right, where you can see that you have stratum corneum, stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum espinosum, stratum basal. So don't forget that what are these stratums? The stratums are the layers in your epidermis, right? Not the layers in your skin. Layers in your skin are going to be dermis, epidermis, and hypodermis. What is the name of these cells that we're constantly shedding right here? These are going to be called what? Keratinocytes, right? Those are the ones that we're constantly shedding, and they're going to be dead, and they're going to contain a lot of keratin. Is this just the only cell that we have in there? No, we're going to have, for example, melanocytes. Melanocytes are going to give the skin color that we all have. But not only that, but even more important than that is that it's going to protect the cells that we have in our skin against the UV rays. Okay, so we all have melanin, right? The melanocytes produce melanin, and they're going to have melanin inside. And the keratinocytes, they're going to have keratin inside. Keratin is a tough material that is going to help us protect. Melanin is a pigment that is going to help us protect, it's going to provide with protection against the UV rays. So if we scroll down right here, I already mentioned that. This is the same thing as this, but this is a figure. This is a figure. This is actually a model right here, but it's the same thing. What is this? The hair. What is the name? I mean, the hair, the muscle. What is the name of that muscle? The piloerector muscle. What is this? Hair, sweat gland. I'm sorry, oily gland, sweat gland in here, blood vessels, adipose tissue right there, receptor, right? Basically the same exact thing that I mentioned before. Now, what is this part right here, filling all these spaces? Then that is going to be the connective tissue. Okay, so then that's your skin. So we scroll down right here. we have accessory organs or accessory structures to our skin. And that's when we have the nail and hair. Okay, so then the hair is gonna have a hair bulb and hair follicle. Hair bulb is usually right here, and the hair follicle is more or less around here, all this. This is gonna be the shaft, and this is gonna be the free edge. This is the part that we cut. That's the only thing you need to know, but the part that you need to know for sure is that this is gonna be associated with the gland and with a muscle called the erectropyline muscle. Same right here with the nails. The nails right here, you're gonna have a nail matrix, right, which is gonna be the base right here from where this is gonna grow. You're gonna have the nail plate, which is gonna be right here, and then we're gonna have the free edge, which is gonna be the one that we actually cut. Right, so then those are the main things that you need to know right there in your skin. So now we're gonna have the same skin, but now you looking at the skin now with the real slider. So we cut a piece of the skin and we put in the microscope, and this is what we see, right? What we saw before was a figure, was a drawing, right? So this one is a real picture. So the top part, as we said, right, this top part right here is gonna be the dermis. I'm sorry, the epidermis, right? The middle part right here is gonna be the dermis. And at the bottom right here, obviously not in this figure, that's gonna be the hypodermis. Remember, in the top, in the epidermis, we said we have multiple layers, and that's why you're gonna have in there a stratum, right? Stratum basal, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, stratum ceruleusum, okay? That's what you're gonna have in stratum corneum at the very top. And right here, this is the connective tissue, all this kind of like pinkish area that you see right there. Okay, so then that's what you have in there. And remember, this one we said is going to be what? Dense, irregular, right? The bottom. Now remember, this is not the same thing, right? This is skin, but different areas, right? This is probably keratinized, as you can see in there, and probably this one is going to be non-keratinized. Okay, so then we scroll down right here. Here's where you're going to make the drawings of the skin after you see that in the slide.